from Action Coach, and we are here in Bloomington, Minnesota, and have the opportunity to tell you a little bit about who we are and what we're doing. Action Coach is an international business coaching firm. We're the largest in the industry. We have over 1,200 offices in 84 countries. And the thing that we have found that we do really, really well is we help business owners that are really good at their craft and at their passion in their business. We take our knowledge and experience of teaching people the business of business and helping them grow their businesses with the fundamentals and the systems that we have tested and measured over nearly 30 years of being in business. And so today we have the opportunity to be able to have an interview with Amalia, and she is a fascinating background. She is an author, an entrepreneur. She's got 20 years also as an international banker. But today she is a founder and entrepreneur of Amalia Latin Gourmet. And Amalia, this is more than just gourmet food, right? You've actually turned this into a way of bringing your culture to small businesses, but also even big businesses, and really turned it into a kind of a cultural awareness and a teaching, as well as just your passion for food. So everyone, please welcome Amalia to the interview today. And hello, how are you?
Hi, Marty. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, we're so
So
grateful.
yes, you said it. My background takes me to Guatemala. That's where it all started. I was born and raised in Guatemala, and when my parents were divorced when I was about 5 years old, I was lucky to end up living with my maternal grandmother because she has become my light and the source of inspiration for what I do today. And after spending 20 years in the international banking world, I became a full-time entrepreneur. So what I do today is I encourage companies to develop a broader understanding and appreciation of Latin cultural nuances through traditional healthy gourmet cuisine. And from there, I am a consultant for food companies. Also, I am an inspirational speaker with topics from career transition and entrepreneurship to culture and history. And I am also a spokeswoman. I represent myself and food companies in the media. And I also provide global virtual culinary experiences to organizations of all sizes.
That's fantastic. Well, so looking at your background, I mean, that's quite a jump from international banking to what you're doing today. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey, kind of where it started? And I know you talked a little bit about your background in Guatemala, but how did you make that transition from banking to what you're doing today? And where are you today? And where do you see yourself in the future?
So I've always had a passion for food and culture and for education as well. And I think that fire was ignited in me through my maternal grandmother, who herself was an entrepreneur and also an excellent cook. And so I learned so much from her by teaching her, by observing her, by going to the markets, by just following her around and assisting her in whatever I could. I was a very curious girl, and so I often offered to help her in the kitchen. And I think that as kids, as growing young people, sometimes we don't realize how much we might be absorbing along the way. But certainly, she became my light and my inspiration that stayed with me and continues to stay with me. So through my years in banking, I always cooked up a storm and entertained regularly, and always trying to do something new and unique, and just using that inspiration that I received from my grandmother in a small town in Guatemala, and just always trying to take that to the next level. But I've also been surrounded by very good cooks besides my grandmother. My mother was a very good cook, and so were my aunts and my sister. So I've been surrounded by a myriad of cooks that have influenced me and also have further inspired me.
That's fantastic. So I was telling some friends of mine over the weekend about the opportunity that I had to interview you, and I mean, you've been on TV in the Twin Cities, you've been on NPR and NPR, and so you've got quite a great visibility in terms of what you do and the impact that you're making on people's lives, but particularly through some of the business consulting work that you do. Tell us a little bit about how did you get involved with some of these kind of networking programs like the TV shows and that kind of stuff. Is that when I think of the business owners that we talk to, oftentimes they're like, how do they get their name out into the marketplace? How do they get their brand to become more familiar? Do you have any tips that you might be able to offer them in that regard?
Yes, so being in the media and creating awareness around my business has always been very important to me. This started in my years in banking. I was in business development for a long
Mm,
time. So my abilities to be creative, became a necessity to continue to grow my quota and to fulfill my goals. Yearly. So that has not changed with my business, with my own business. Having my own business has been certainly more challenging than being in the business in the banking world. But being part of the media has really created more awareness around what I do. It has brought a positive light on my Latin culture, and it has been a combination of invitations that I have received through time. And then I am not shy. I also reach out.
mhm.
And part of what you see today is a combination of the two. And I just feel that the public that you reach on TV, it's not everyone. So it's needed to do marketing in different avenues, and one of them might be radio, and another one may be social media. And so for me, it has been a good thing because it has allowed me to spread the good news about what I do within the Latin American culture and food and education.
Yeah, I started to say a minute ago that I was talking to some friends of mine about having a chance to interview you today, and they were like, "Food, what a fantastic way to bring people together, regardless of backgrounds, regardless of profession, regardless of everything. It's let's go and break bread together, right?" So I think it's a fascinating model that you have. Tell us a little bit about your business today. I mean, how do you work, and particularly with some of the companies that you have as clients of yours, how do you work with them?
Well, as a consultant, different companies have different needs, and I adapt what I do to a variety of needs. And it could be product development, it could be ideation, it could be becoming an interpreter, as I am bilingual. Some of these companies have purchased other businesses in Latin America, and so I have become an interpreter as a result of that, helping on a variety of needs of converting systems to the U.S. model, and also adapting products to the U.S. model, and helping companies launch new products, a new product line of any kind that appeals to the Latin American market, and participating in campaigns, also showcasing products from startup companies, either on TV or in radio, or campaigns on social media. So that is on the consulting side. And as a spokeswoman, I've represented companies promoting their products in the media or in a variety of ways, mostly through cultural cooking demonstrations, connecting them authentically with the Latino market. Um, when I provide what I call global virtual culinary experiences, also I do this on a national and international level. And this is something that was born from COVID. The worst of the pandemic brought a lot of challenging aspects in business for most of us, and many of us pivoted in directions to satisfy the needs of our clients. And my clients are big companies that have employees worldwide, and they were trying to connect with their employees in a meaningful way, especially around the Hispanic Heritage Month, which is
Mm.
an opportunity to celebrate culture and to learn more about traditions. And this is good for business, of course. Hispanic Heritage Month runs from September 15th through October 15th. And so teaching virtually has allowed me to reach audiences worldwide.
Oh, that's fantastic. So now you've already published two books, and from what I understand, you're getting ready to get your third one published. Can you give us a sneak peek on your upcoming book?
Yes, so my first book was very successful, and my first book will follow along my third book will follow along the path of my first book. It expands into the Guatemalan cuisine and the culture,
Mm.
because when I was done with the first one, I had more to say, and that's when I published the second one, and I expanded into the Central American region with a connection to the southern central part of Mexico. That area is called Mesoamerica. So my third book will come back again to my core, Guatemala, and I will talk from a regional standpoint, and what are the unique experiences, what are the unique foods, ingredients, what is the unique culture and history tied to the regional sections of Guatemala. So that's what I can tell you.
That's fantastic. Well, appreciate the little insight on it. When do you expect it to come out? Do you know yet? Mm.
I am still working on it. I came up with the outline last year, and I am hoping to finish the good part of the manuscript this year. And, with publishing a book, I really never tell it's going to be on X date, because it never works out that way. There are so many different players involved in publishing a book. This is like a puzzle. And so from the time that the manuscript is ready to editing, to proofing, to everything else that is part of the book publishing process, has to be coordinated, and it has to work, in a certain way. Certainly, the last book I published had more challenges attached to it because of COVID. There were shortages of paper, and the timelines were extended because of a variety of reasons. So hopefully this time it will be much easier, such as the first time, and I'm looking forward to it. So I hope that the book can be published sometime in 2024.
Fantastic. Well, you're becoming a professional in it for sure. So I look forward to seeing it when it's done. But before we go, a couple of last questions for you. One is, you have such a unique space. Where do you see your business going in the future? I mean, do you have kind of a clear path or vision about what you see for you and for how you help people in the next, let's say, 3 to 5 years?
Yes, so I have a niche business, and I am highly specialized in my core, and I have a full understanding of my industry. My core is Guatemalan, as I indicated. That from there, I expand to Central America, Mexico, South America, and the Latin Caribbean. I have firsthand knowledge of this area, and I have been privileged to travel in this area to learn more about the area more in depth. And I see this industry as a bright opportunity for my business, because the Latino demographic continues to increase. It has been the largest demographic for a number of years now, at about 19% of the total US population. And the need for companies to connect with a diverse customer base in an authentic manner has become basic to growing their businesses in the diverse Latino market, that is. Latinos right now represent about $1 trillion market,
Wow.
and their spending power is rising faster than the non-Latino population. And so this represents a big opportunity for companies to tap into the diversity of this market, and I can help companies grow their spending, their businesses with targeted services and or products.
Wow, that's fantastic. So you mentioned earlier before we started the interview that you have a lot on your plate, and it sounds like you do. So, but it sounds like you've got a great plan and really the passion to be able to reach the not just the Latino community, but to help business owners be able to understand that culture and that community and be able to deliver. Well, actually, you talked about product development, so creating products specifically for that marketplace and helping them deliver them in a way that is meaningful. So that's fantastic. One last question for you. So one of the things that we find that business owners that watch these interviews really find helpful is there one lesson that you've learned over the years that you think is really valuable to you that others may benefit from?
Yes, I have learned to be intentional in everything I do, to stay within my core, and also to really be loyal to my mission. Really, everything I do is around my mission. But another thing is also be fearless. Uh,
Mm.
we can't afford to have fear, because that can stop many of us from grabbing opportunities that can represent growth in our companies, and or speaking of the media, just becoming intentional about how to you grow your business, including networking and tweaking my business strategy yearly, for example, taking a close look at that, because our businesses change year after year, and what drives that change is that we grow professionally, but also need to pay attention to what's going on in the economy, and especially in our industry, and then try to determine what opportunities might exist there for us to grow.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So you've touched on a number of things, both in terms of how you present yourself, how you've been marketing yourself, your tenacity, I think is fantastic. Obviously, you have a great deal of conviction in what you do in the products and services that you bring to the marketplace. And then you shared a little bit about your book and the realities of that. I mean, there's a lot of people that talk about writing books and that content creator environment that many people would like to be in to help promote their brand, but you're doing it. And I think this advice that you gave is in terms of kind of key lessons for other business owners to learn and grow from is really, really helpful for them. So one I keep saying one last question, but one last question. If somebody wanted to reach out and get to know you better or talk to you more about what you have to offer, is there a website or is there a way that they can reach out to you?
Different ways. My website is amalialatingourmet.com,
Okay.
or they can reach out to me via LinkedIn. I have a business page, Amalia Latin Gourmet, or they can reach out to me personally also on LinkedIn, Amalia Moreno-Damgaard. I am on Instagram under Amalia Moreno-Damgaard. I am on Facebook. I am everywhere.
That's fantastic. Yeah, and for those of you that are watching this interview, I just want to tell you, first of all, it's been a pleasure getting to know Amalia, but her social media presence is fantastic, and her credentials are really second to none. And so, with that, I want to say thank you so much for joining us today. And again, to the business owners that are watching this interview, thank you all for coming and joining us. And I just want to encourage you to reach out to Amalia in the ways that she just suggested. And if there's anything that we here at Action Coach can do to help you either facilitate that introduction or just get to know us better, we welcome that as well. Again, I'm Marty Rasmussen from Action Coach in Bloomington, Minnesota. Looking forward to having a chance to get to know Amalia even better after this interview, but as well as getting to know many of you. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Marty.
Yeah, you're welcome.